So the Kingard is explaining to us why we shouldn't pre-order games. Do not pre-order games. Do not pre-order games. Do not pre-order games. I personally don't pre-order games because budget, and also because there are certain titles that I personally pre-order. Like I pre-ordered Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I enjoyed every bug of it. Depending on what game you pre-order, you have to really love the world, despite the faults. And for me, Final Fantasy VII Remake did well for me despite the bugs. But I pre-ordered Security Breach, and that was a mistake for me. But what does the Kingard think?
This year's gaming showcases, it can be easy to get so excited about an upcoming release, you may find yourself slapping some hard-earned dollars down in anticipation.
And that really sucks though, because a lot of the times there's expensive games that are creeping between $50 and $70, and that's just like the AAA titles themselves. And already, I didn't know that the Avatar game was coming out, but I want to play. And the Lords of the Fallen's getting a re-release. Lies of P we just played, and Spider-Man 2. I really want to get into it because I love the first game. Those are like Lords of the Fallen. I'm going to try the first game again and see what happens. But with most Souls games, I'm gonna wait until it's like on sale, or if there's like a playable demo, because if I can't play well during the first couple of hours in the demo, then I don't think I can play through it, because like when I bought Sekiro, I was excited, and then I never got past the tutorial area. So that's me.
Early accesses, subscriptions, whether or not players should spend money on a game.
And I will say at least that monthly subscriptions, like for me, I get a constant flow of video games because of my yearly subscription to PlayStation Plus. Not only does it let me get an online access for multiplayer when I play with friends, when I get friends, but also the fact that I can get constant flow games like Jedi. Um, what's the previous? What's the previous? What is the previous video? It's not Jedi Survivors, but the game before
The
that.
game before its release has been a subject of debate for a long time. What will it be like at launch? What will I get if I
Broken
pre-order?
Lunch.
To help fight the rapidly spreading disease that is the release now, fix later philosophy,
Oh
let's
no.
look back in history to 5 different reminders of why you should.
Hold on a second longer.
And wait.
Wait.
Starting off our timeline, Sega started a 7-year hype train when it acquired the license to develop games based on the Alien franchise in 2006. Their game, Alien Colonial Marines, was officially announced in Game Informer magazine in 2008. Gearbox promised tense encounters, just like the movies, where the aliens would stalk you and your Marine buddies. It was gonna put clever girls everywhere to shame. I still remember being so excited by the pictures I could not wait to blast bugs with my pulse rifle. Gearbox also shared a gameplay demo for the game that again promised sophisticated artificial intelligence.
Now, what I don't remember is whether or not the Colonial Marines was supposed to be a game before or after Alien Isolation. And in Alien Isolation, I heard it got increasingly harder to play because of how the AI learned how you play. So the longer you played the game, the harder it got, to the point where it became unplayable. I don't know, I do want to try Alien Isolation, but I don't know like if it's the worth the expense. But we'll see.
Aliens can climb on the ceilings and the walls. It's all driven by sophisticated artificial intelligence.
Sophisticated AI.
Detail and lighting effects that all contributed to the feeling of isolation while fighting off hordes of xenomorphs. Prior to its 2013 release, players could pre-order the game, purchase a season pass,
Oh no.
unlock future DLC automatically, or pay $99 for.
I gotta say, the collector box and the power loader look like really good figures. Like, those look like pretty fun figures. Not the collector's edition Xeno Hive, but I think having the power loader figure looks pretty cool if you're into the Predator Alien universe.
Collector's edition that included a figurine and some extra content in the game. Because of a review embargo, video game journalists were not allowed to publish reviews of the game prior to the day of release. One day before Aliens Colonial Marines
One
was
day?
released, cryptic tweets began to arise from various game reviewers that would say things like, "A day before release isn't too late to cancel a pre-order," without directly naming the game itself. But
Interesting.
approximately 5 seconds of modest Google
5
research
seconds?
curious viewers to hint that they were talking about the Aliens game. This is the
What made
earliest
it a
memory
problem?
I have before a game's release where I was thinking,
There's a storm coming, Ari. We'd all best be ready when she does.
Can't
well,
be good.
we wanted bugs, and by God, Gearbox made sure
How
we got
bad were the
bugs.
bugs, really? How bad were those bugs? Wait, that is... Oh, no.
On the day of release, Aliens Colonial
Oh,
Marines
no.
had universal criticism pointed at the game's glitches, terrible AI that just rushed at the player,
AI looked...
acting like the xenomorphs from the films,
That looked
and
really
visuals
bad.
nowhere nearly as polished as the E3 demo. The game was so broke was presented.
Oh, that looks so bad. But, like, hold on. Sega tentatively pay out $1.5 million in alien suit. Oh, no.
Gearbox that alleged false advertisement. Years later, when Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford was asked about the state of Aliens
Oh,
Colonial
no.
Marines, he denied there being an issue with the graphics, said he did not regret the experience.
You wouldn't trade anything for the experience of a poorly received game with the bugs. It just sounds like the game was released too early from what you're telling me. Jeez, if you just let it cook in the oven a little bit longer, we could have avoided this.
And compared people who didn't like the game to sadists with less sophisticated
Sadists. Jeez, that's not good.
Thinking. Too bad the $99 version of the game didn't come with a free pass from getting called a sadist.
Jeez. Well, to be fair, No Man's Sky has been racked on for a really long time. And for the game to have then been pulled back so that they can work on it to be reintroduced, it became a really good contender. It won awards after the developers were given more time to work on it. But yeah, don't like it just felt bad.
Rabbit hole that is No Man's Sky's release. Go check out Internet Historian's video on it. I'll put a link in the description. No Man's Sky, developed by
Sorry.
Hello Games and published by Sony, was revealed in 2013 as a game which promised interstellar travel, spaceship battles, and exploration of a procedurally created galaxy. Interviews with Hello Games co-founder Sean Murray only amped up the anticipation, as several features were stated to be in the game, such as multiplayer.
He was
well,
on that
sort of,
the
or
Late
at
Talk
least
Show.
The possibility of running into other players.
Can you run into other people, other players on the game?
Yes, but the chances of that are incredibly rare, just because of the size of what we're building.
And a variety of immersion mechanics, including landing on asteroids.
Yeah, the problem was he'll probably say it, but the problem was the unlikelihood of you being able to find your friends was then debunked by people who found their friends immediately. But because of the bugs, it was looking at an astral projection because you couldn't interact with them, but you found them.
You're being able to play the game as a space pirate. It was a big deal for a game with an indie developer to get this much attention before release, and boy did the suits milk every drop they could from that hype.
I don't like that.
No Man's Sky.
That cow was undeserved. That cow did not deserve that.
Could be pre-ordered
That
as a
squeezed.
standard edition at $59.99, limited edition for $79.99, or an exclusive edition.
Okay, let's see. How much is that figure?
At $149.99.
So we're looking at $100 figure. The spaceship looks fine. I mean, exclusive pins, hand painted, cast metal. I don't, to be fair, like for as cool as that figure, as that, oh wait, includes game code. So you're telling me the entire box is just for the extra tools, the pins, and the toy. Okay. I mean, but it looks fine. But again, like, it's just like a generic spaceship.
No Man's Sky released 2 A collective sigh of disappointment.
But it got
This wasn't
better.
so
It
much
got
a case
better.
of a broken launch, although there were plenty of bugs. More so an astounding leap between player expectations and what the game actually
Oh
was
no.
at release. The procedurally generated galaxy was considered to feel repetitive, as each planet appeared to recycle similar assets and biomes, and a metric boatload of features stated to be in the game prior to its release were nowhere to be found,
That's
including being
two No Man's Sky players managed to meet, but apparently can't see each other.
able to
Yeah,
find
it's
other
a really
players
bad.
within the galaxy. Hello Games and Sony's response to the backlash started out as bouts of silence, until Hello Games posted some blog posts saying
What matters now, as always, is what we do rather than what we say. We're developers, and our focus is first on resolving any issues people have with the game as it is, then on future free updates which will improve, expand, and build on No Man's Sky universe. Yeah, so despite this reaction, the publisher was like hush hush about it. The publishers, but the developers promised to get back to it. They promised to continue working
they were
on it.
listening and focusing on fan.
Over the last few weeks since No Man's Sky's released, we've been inundated with feedback and discussions about No Man's Sky. You've been heard, and we are listening
Feedback.
carefully.
Sony's president of Worldwide Studios threw Hello Games under the bus by saying they did not have a good PR strategy.
Because he sounded like he was promising more features in the game from day one. It wasn't a great PR strategy because he didn't have a PR person to help him, and in the end, okay, that's right, because Sean Murray is a developer. He's not someone who knows how to market the game, because like if I remember correctly, it was like a room of like developers who made this game and who like had a vision, but they weren't trained to talk about the game in a very like marketable way. They were trained to like talk about how they made it and like what went through the process. But yeah, he didn't have a PR person helping him, and he just went on stage and talked about the game himself. Like, and he was pressured, I feel like, because he was the developer. Like these questions, like, oh, that's a good idea, that's a good idea, and afterwards is like, how do I implement these? I said these things. But he says that their plan is to continue developing, and I'm looking forward to continue playing
And then
it.
in 2018, 2 whole years after the game came out, Hello Games posted an open letter finally acknowledging that some mistakes had been made during the game's development and right after release, especially dealing with responses to fan feedback. No Man's Sky has gone down in the history books as a game that has taken a complete 180 and is actually quite good now.
Yeah, it's very good
Considering all
now
the
in the
free
past, like
DLC
after 2-3
patches.
years.
No Man's Sky is a perfect example of the marshmallow test.
The marshmallow test?
This is a test where a kid is given
Yeah, so I'll skip that in a bit. Essentially, where the experiment is, if I give you this marshmallow, and you don't eat it by the time I get back, you'll get 2. So it's a test about patience, to where if you're patient, you could have gotten 2. So it's like it teaches delayed gratification for some of these kids. So that's just how it is when it comes to it.
marshmallow. No matter when you bought No Man's Sky, I think we can all agree that the guy who spent $1,300
Someone paid $1,300 to pay it early. I'm the guy that bought this. Someone in the No Man's Sky Reddit asked me why I would spend so much money.
on an early leaked copy of the game,
That makes
Damien.
tonight's big loser.
After the lukewarm reception
Battlefield Front 2 was a disaster, essentially. So I think we'll just skip this part. But essentially, I don't. You know, I'll hear you out. But essentially, the reason why Battlefront 2 is a really great example. Hold on. Sorry. So essentially, like, the reason why Battlefield Front 2 is a bad example is because, from experience, by playing on my friends, like, you can get all the characters you wanted, but you know what? Fuck it. I'm really bad at explaining.
PUBG-only content. Star Wars fans, including yours truly, were hyped to see the trailer for its sequel, Battlefront 2, announce it would have a single-player campaign along with characters and locations from all three eras of Star Wars films in its multiplayer.
And the problem with this, from my experience, is that like you were given the option, you had the opportunity to buy this like famous and infamous characters from the Star Wars franchise. The problem was you had to grind out so many in-game currency points to get these characters, or you can spend hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars to like skip that process to where the microtransactions made more money than the game, and essentially it became a 5-digit, 6-digit expense if you were to buy everything with real life money at the
A
time.
dream come true for people like me who weren't exactly into the more recent releases of Star Wars
They were fine.
games.
What? I didn't know that it was a skin
If
for
you wanted to
Dance
play the
Dance,
beta before launch,
for
you
Just
had to
Dance.
pre-order the game.
Yeah, Diablo 4 had the same issue of like, if you want to play the demo of Diablo 4, you gotta pre-order it first. So that is a really scummy thing to do for developers. I can't stop it, but it's really scummy to hide the demo behind a paywall and then not be able to backtrack when you find out that the beta is really bad. For some people, when they played the Diablo 4 beta, they loved it, and they knew, those people that knew that they were going to play Diablo 4 for better or for worse, they knew what they were getting themselves into. But for everybody else, it's not great, because if you're into shooter games, MySkins really likes shooter games, and I think, and I can't say for sure, but if he wanted to get into this before the game was released, he would have had to pay $60 and commit an X amount of hours after release to make it worthwhile. If you were to exchange your dollars for times played, you would have had to spend 60 hours, 70 hours in the game to really get the most out of it. Otherwise, the majority of the time is simply like Battle Royale. You will go into a Battle Royale game, get currency points, to then be able to buy these skins. And that is an issue for a lot of people, because if the experience is not fun, then you wasted $60, $70. Like me, I will probably eventually get back into trying Sekiro, but the problem is with Sekiro is that I'm not very good with parries, so me not being able to play a demo before playing this game, I played it out of like copium, like online said it was really great. Friends suggested like, hey, it's really great, it's really cool, out of like recommendations and the news. I made a mistake.
Let me repeat that. If you wanted to play a trial version of the game to see if it was something you like, you would have had to have already purchased the game. I know it isn't completely uncommon to offer this as a pre-order incentive nowadays. After all, developers use betas for the purpose of testing game mechanics to make sure the game is ready at launch. But I think most players would agree that we use betas to get a taste of an upcoming game that we may or may not want to buy.
Yeah, because like in this try like buy scenario, I want to buy Lies of P because I tried the demo and I completed the demo, and I think I might stream it again because I really liked it. So who knows? We'll see what happens. I'll probably start over the demo to see what happens. But I really liked the experience despite my 6 hours of conflict. There's 2 hours that you didn't see that I had to record for the sake of the video, but essentially I had in-game time of 6 hours to really enjoy, and it was fun. That'd be a scenario to where if I didn't like the game, I'm happy I tried it without having to pay money for it. But for Battlefield Front 2 and for Diablo 4, they have paywalls to let you try the game, and there's probably no guarantee to then back out on the purchase.
It's like a trial or a demo. Buying a game to access the beta, to me, is like having to pay full price for an ice cream cone up front if you want to use the little taste test spoon at your local ice cream shop.
You didn't say please.
Pre-order the game in its standard edition for $60. The Elite Trooper Deluxe Edition that included some cosmetics and early upgrades to characters for $80.
So that's $20 of cosmetics and early benefits. That's not cost efficient, but unless it had like boosters, but sure, XP boosters.
Retailer specific versions there were.
Oh no. Oh my god. There's a lot.
It caused an uproar in both the video game community and the legal world.
Predatory 1.9.
Character abilities could only be unlocked through loot boxes based on
Loot
random
boxing.
outcomes. Hero
Okay.
characters
Okay, so you had to loot box your characters, not just buy them outright?
took an egregious amount of in-game credits to individually unlock, and players could buy credits with.
You can either play 4,500 hours or spend 2,100 to fully unlock the game. Yeah, like I didn't know the amount, but I didn't know it was $4,500 to spend.
Real money in
on it.
return for random in-game advantages or hero characters.
Jeez.
Through this system, EA committed two cardinal sins. One, they put game-altering advantages in a random reward system, and two, they allowed players to pay.
And pay to win nowadays is very hard for like people to like digest, because pay to win almost ruins the experience for a lot of people, because if you just remove the pay to win experience, some people will understand that, hey, you have better RNG luck than others, but if you can pay to get these things, it removes the purpose of the randomized progression, because for those who don't have money, you're either going to play 8 hours, 12 hours of this game and then give up because you've been losing and winning, and the currencies you get pay for a lottery that you may not get entirely, versus somebody with the extra income to pay for these boosts, pay for these weapons, and pay for these characters.
Real money.
Because some of these characters have access to skills that your initial characters can't. So the initial character will have just like the basic rifle, or just the basic rifles, basic things. But Jedis have like extra skills that are primarily melee.
To win these advantages. But surely the loot boxes didn't get in the way of players' enjoyment of the game, right?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
For Battlefront 2,
Well, hold on.
developers
I didn't read that correctly. EA confirms the game failed to meet sales target. Backlash against the game loot box as a reason, because again, like you're hiding skins. People bought Battlefront 2 with the impression that they can play within their Star Wars universe. They had the belief that you can go in and just like play as nobody likes playing as a Star Trooper, or like a Stormtrooper, or like a Federate, or like a Rebel Force, like those foot soldiers. People, you play foot soldiers for a good majority of the game before you get the chance to roll out the Obi-Wan, the Anakins, the Padmes. It's just, or like the Han Solos.
Brother, this guy stinks!
For Battlefront 2, developer response to negative feedback actually had both legal implications and set a world record. Backlash to this both random and pay-to-win progression system was so bad that DICE and EA temporarily disabled microtransactions at the game's release entirely, in response to a Reddit post that voiced frustration.
$80 to have Vader locked. I've been contacting EA for a refund. I can't even play Darth Vader, because Darth Vader is hidden behind a transactional wall that is hidden behind a randomized chance.
Over Darth Vader's hero character requiring an estimated 40 hours of playing to unlock, EA gave the now...
The intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes, which isn't always guaranteed. As for the cost, we select individual values based upon data from the open beta, and other adjustments made to micro milestone rewards before launch. Among other things, we're looking at an average day per player credit earn rate on a daily basis, and we will mark the constant adjustments. We'll be making constant adjustments to make sure the players have challenges that are compelling, rewarding, and of course attainable via gameplay. It's not going to be rewarding if you have a team that is really bad. So if loser Andy plays this game 10 times and he loses 4 out of the 10 times, he is less likely to get the character that he wants than someone who wins 5 out of 10 times or 6 out of 10 times. This doesn't account for the win-loss ratio of people, because your win-loss ratio affects how much currency you get to then get the chance to roll for these characters, or even the premium currency to get to buy lore-specific characters. We appreciate the candid feedback and the passion the community has put forth around the current topic here on Reddit. Continue to make changes.
Infamous remark that hero characters are difficult to unlock because they wanted players to feel a sense of pride and accomplishment.
There's no
They
accomplishment.
got one.
Yeah.
That Reddit response set a Guinness World Record for most Reddit downvotes on a single post ever in 2019.
Jeez.
Because of Battlefront 2, lawmakers in different countries, including Belgium and the United States, started to crack.
I think Belgium and Norway were first to ban Diablo Immortal because of the gambling tendencies that were hidden behind game mechanics. It's still gambling, but the loophole was, but you have to be skilled enough to get here and then be given the privilege to roll for these. It's still gambling, but the payment is your skill and not money, which is not a good core mechanic.
In video games, comparing them to online casinos and accusing them of both allowing and teaching children to gamble.
This game is a Star Wars themed online casino designed to lure kids into spending money. It's a trap.
The whole
He looks good. I hate the fact that he looks good. I need the hairstylist and the skincare that guy needs, because he looks good, and I hate that I don't look that good. I look like a crypt keeper.
About $3 billion in stock value in 1 month.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Similar to the story of No Man's Sky, Battlefront 2 has made a huge comeback over the years, with heaps of free content.
If I remember correctly, even if you get the character, there's no guarantee that you'll play your character, because in a map, if the character of Vader's locked out, I think you can't play Vader. So you can't play and see who is stronger with the Force. To remedy that, you could have just had like 2 different Vaders with different skin tones or skin colors to say, a light-skinned Vader is still darker than you, and stuff like that.
Scaling back of monetization and cementing itself as the modern multiplayer Star Wars game. If you like StarArs, it really is worth the play. Now,
Fallen Order is better to play.
Some people paid over $100 for the game that dang near
Survivor is better to play.
Against loot boxes.
Listen.
Because again, like, the whole problem with the whole loot boxing situation is that it takes a certain amount of skill. We tolerated loot boxing in Overwatch because the Overwatch loot boxing was for cosmetics, versus this where it was hidden behind actual characters that had different advantages than the troopers.
A good chunk of the Fallout fanbase.
I have this game for free. I don't know if I want to play it, but I might play it for a stream for a meme. Or not. I don't know. I don't know if I'll play it.
This was disappointed by Bethesda's announcement that Fallout 76 would be an online multiplayer live service game. There were still plenty of people excited to get to experience the world of Fallout with friends. Wait a second.
Would have rather had a full game with co-op. I love it when it cut off. I most hyped for a 27/7 to be waiting 5 years. I don't know why they'll say it's going to be Battle Royale when they basically said that the co-op or even PvP. I find it amazing.
What is... Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess we could go ahead and mention.
In a minute!
Okay, all right. Fallout 76. Despite the news.
Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 was really bad. The story plot was digestible for a sci-fi world, but it was really bad. It didn't get the best acceptance by the crowds. It took a year or a year and a half to like get updates to iron it out better. One of my coworkers was fine with it towards the end, and she was okay with the bugs. I'm okay with bugs, but it definitely didn't taste really good.
That the game would not feature any NPCs, a prominent feature in previous Fallout games, people still had faith. I mean, this is Bethesda we're talking about here.
And to be fair, Dishonored was great. Elder Scroll is I'm not too sure about. Doom and Doom Eternal I want to play. Starfield is questionable. Right. And I did play Prey.
Skyrim, anyone?
I've never played Skyrim. I've never played it. And it's a matter of like the constant re-releases, the constant hype from other people might have actually, it's making me delay the chance for me to play Skyrim even further, despite being a game that was released in 2011, looks like, or 2013, where the 2013 was the Legendary Collection, and then we get the Anniversary Collection a couple years ago. Okay, so it came out in 2011, but again, like for a 10-year-old game, and the constant re-release of the same title makes me feel like I can delay it even further, to where there's no definitive edition of the game yet, and until there's a definitive edition, they're not done. And someone's already told me that the game is better with mods, so who knows? I don't know my experience.
Players could pre-order the base game at $59.99, the Tricentennial Edition for $80, or the monster of a purchase called the Power Edition for $1.
The Power Edition gives you a box, D&D like statues, a helmet, and a bag. The helmet looks fun. It looks like a fun collectible.
Whopping $200.
$200.
A map of the game world, figurines based on some in-game models, a wearable power armor helmet, and what was marketed as a Canvas West Tech duffel bag.
This took me several times. Canvas West Tech duffel bag.
Very quickly, customers of the Power Edition began to voice complaints that the bag they received looked nothing like what was advertised. Instead of a durable...
Oh my god, the bag looks really bad in comparison.
...canvas bag, it was a flimsy bag made of nylon. When questioned about this, Bethesda customer support rather bluntly stated that the bag was changed to nylon because they were cheaper to produce.
Of course it'd be cheaper to produce.
Products that were expensive and nothing like what was advertised, Fallout 76 was released to near universal criticism, plagued with bugs, glitches, and hackers that could flat out steal another player's stash.
That's a lot of bugs.
The functionality of the game was a consistent gripe among players and reviewers. The icing on the cake, however, is that while the game was in such a broken state, Bethesda had the audacity to keep its in-game store up and running.
There's a store for cosmetics, which is fine, but oh my god. What does it do for you? Other than makes you look cooler. If there's like a buff increase, then it should be like under $5.
Items that were so expensive, the price of a couple of outfits was comparable to the entire season pass.
Wait, hold on. Let's see what's going on. The item shop prices are slowly going up, and they're ridiculous. Sand outfit dropped at $20, a third of the full game. Sheesh. Season pass is already £40, was reduced to £20, but still.
Of the previous game in the series.
Fallout 76 is already selling for $26 at some retailers. Jeez.
Fallout 4.
Jeez.
Twisting that monetization knife into the kneecaps of Fallout players.
That's so much money.
Bethesda announced they would finally add a slew of player-requested features.
I'm so happy I got it for free. I don't know if I'll play it.
Oh boy, fast.
Maybe once, but I tried playing Outer Worlds, which was made by Bethesda, and I couldn't finish Bethesda, and I can't say that I know
travel,
why.
more storage space for crafting items, private servers, and more affordable cosmetic items. And all you had to do was
A subscription fee? What would the subscription fee do? Play in a private world. You get you get an allowance per month to spend at the atomic shop. A placeable. Okay, these tools you don't need to pay subscription for. So you're telling me if you stop paying for your subscription, you lose all that?
subscribe to something? Oh, I'm sure they just want your email or something like that. I mean, I doubt it costs money.
Oh my goodness!
Bethesda, quick, your game is growing,
$100
players are
for a
demanding more content.
year.
What is your response?
Jeez.
To tell them to give us more money? As is the trend for this list, the game was improved over the following years. Bugs got patched, NPCs and storylines were added to the game, and hey, even the pre-orders got their canvas bags. Bethesda even gave us a developer.
As a studio would take your journey, we try not to repeat ourselves, yet always yell against our similar DNA. The answer to that question... Wait, hold on. You too are left wondering what exactly is this, and that's up to you. Oh my god.
Developer apology we can add to our wall of shame.
The wall of shame? I mean, to be fair, the message to the community by No Man's Sky was remedied by a really good game a few years later. But I don't think 76 is playable still.
But one can't help but wonder, how long after a game's release should someone who spent $200, or heck, even in this case, the base $60, have to wait until they feel like they got a finished product? If all the criticism and backlash makes you feel bad for Bethesda, don't worry. They're still in the video game business. They've got some game with very little hype, and not a lot of people have heard about it coming out this year. I think it's, what's it called?
Starfield is... I keep hearing about Starfield, but I don't know.
Oh, who am I kidding? Starfield looks awesome. I mean, it's Bethesda. They make great games. You know, what would be the harm in getting this one early? I'm sure Fallout 76 was just a... Oh, pre-order bonus. I could maybe... Oh, I could just pay a little bit extra.
Bethesda has gotten to be really sketchy. Because, like, even when I enjoyed playing Prey, the ending of Prey lost all momentum for me, because as much I enjoyed the journey of Prey from start to finish, and then when I got to the ending, but again, like when it came to Prey, like I lost all wins underneath my sails when I got to the ending, because the ending was so controversial to me, because you're telling me that the entire experience I had did not affect the ending to the game, other than whether or not we get put back into the system of simulation, or because the problem is that we were alien, we were the guy's brother that was turned alien, and we were playing a simulation to see whether or not his moral and ethics were still there. If he had bad moral and ethics, he would have been put back into the machine or just killed. Those were your two endings. It didn't matter whether or not you made good choices. It didn't matter if you had the good ending. It didn't matter if you didn't use any of the powers. Nothing mattered toward the ending when you played Prey. There was very little we didn't screw up.
BioWare made a splash at the 20s.
Oh no! But to be fair, Anthem was a game that expresses, like, there was so much hope to Anthem. I'm happy I didn't pre-order this game because I was busy playing anything else. But the concepts behind a shooter while being an Iron Man, and you had 3 different suit types or 5 different suit types, that was pretty cool. I had one of the posters. It looked really good. And then the current nowadays we have Exoprimal, which is you and your mech suit versus an onslaught of dinosaurs. That sounds pretty fun. Like, sounds like a dumb fun. Good dumb fun.
2017 E3 conference with gameplay footage from their upcoming RPG, Anthem. It had all of us saying,
I'd get to fly around like Iron Man.
with the developer behind the critically acclaimed Mass Effect and Dragon Age series,
Yes, that's me.
I'm over here.
boasting stunning visuals and cooperative play, players had a lot
That
to be
looks
excited
so
about.
visually
It was clear the
beautiful,
game was
though.
targeted at the looter shooter crowd that were playing the likes of Destiny, but at the time, players, especially BioWare fans, were eager to see how the developer with a track record of making immersive, narrative-driven games
You've overstepped. No Christmas.
Overstepped. Andromeda was not liked, from what I was told. But I've never played Dragon Age 2, so I can't defend that. But I know Andromeda was really bad.
we don't talk about those two. We're going to perform when diving into the online cooperative multiplayer.
But it's
scene.
so cool.
Surely a game with this good of a presentation will be a smash hit, right? Side note, a personal red flag of mine is when a game presentation includes scripted player dialogue.
Damn, looking good. Nice,
Was that
got him more
scripted?
equipped.
Yeah, I got it on the weekend. That is one big pile of shit.
To be fair, like, I thought that dialogue was from, like, players, not scripted. I thought that was an NPC. But Sea of Thieves has a Return to Monkey Island thing going on, so Sea of Thieves got better.
Players could pre-order Anthem at the base price of $60 or the Legion of Dawn edition at $80, both of which included VIP access to the pre-launch demo and some in-game cosmetics. Gotta pay for that demo playtime, guys. What do you think this is?
You gotta play for that demo play. Man, I really wish I had that demo. I wish I could have played the demo.
Charity? In case anyone forgot that BioWare's parent company is EA, we were all reminded of that at Anthem's launch. EA launched a broken game.
Oh, yes, of course. How very, very awful.
I miss Jim Carrey as Count Olaf. But then later on, the later iteration on Netflix was really good too. I forgot his name, but he's really good.
Wait. Let me do that one more time. Give me the line again. Quickly, while it's fresh in my mind.
EA launched a broken game? A disorganized development process gifted
Oh,
the
no.
game drowning in game-breaking bugs. But even worse, it became apparent that no one, not even the developers, had a complete vision for what Anthem was supposed to be. While the basic concept of flying around in suits developers
Wait, why Anthem failed and why it was never destined to succeed. Okay.
had a complete vision for what Anthem was supposed to be. While the basic concept of flying around in suits with your friends was still a unique one, the game felt like an Oreo without the stuffing. If you're one of those people out there that eats Oreos like that,
Stop it. Get some help.
sure we could fly around together, but what were we supposed to do after beating the narratively unimpressive campaign? The first few minutes of flying was neat, but the missions were outright boring. The power scaling was broken enough to where lower-leveled weapons could be more powerful than higher-leveled ones. The loot in this looter shooter wasn't significant enough to bother grinding for, and significant pieces of endgame content were delayed. When both the top of the mountain is boring, and the climb to get there is boring, why take the journey at all?
The journey is usually the part that you remember anyways. The journey is usually the part that you remember. Journey is usually the part that you remember anyway.
Oddly enough,
So what you're telling me is that you could have beaten the game with like beginner weapons from the get-go instead of being convinced that, oh, I need to grind out this area to get better weapons to then better survive.
a common criticism of Anthem's in-game store wasn't just focused on prices of items, it was that there wasn't enough stuff on sale at any given time. It felt like BioWare was trying to artificially increase player retention by minimizing what was in its store too much. If people are complaining there's not enough microtransactions at any given time in your live service game, something's wrong. Updates and communication from BioWare slowed to near silence, but eventually the developer announced they were working on an overhaul to the game. They will be dubbed Anthem Next or Anthem 2.0. Then later announced those plans were canceled.
Canceled?
Anthem reboot cancellation serves as an apology letter for us to add to our wall.
Reboot
I bought this game
cancellation.
for $10 on sale
Jeez.
a couple of years after
$10?
release. Honestly, I got bored after a couple hours. Too bad I didn't buy it for $80, so I could have a couple extra skins to go with my boredom.
Jeez.
If you glance at the title of this video, what you won't see is never be excited about a game ever again. There's nothing wrong with being excited about an upcoming release. It feels good to have hype around an upcoming game. Throwing money at video game developers.
Yeah, because ultimately the message, the ultimate message for everybody is like, don't pre-order games, but you can still enjoy games. Like for example, if I knew there are certain games that feel better after a release after playing it a year later, a couple years later. Case in point, I have not played Ragnarok. I really want to play Ragnarok, but when I buy it on sale, when I get the chance, I'm gonna buy the deluxe edition that is reduced to the price of a full game because I want everything there. I made every attempt to want to play the game, and I would have loved the game in the beginning, but with me playing one game and moving on to the next, whenever a new release, whenever the game that I last played keeps updating it with certain updates, depending on the game that I'm playing right now, I'm not then motivated to backtrack because again there was lack of motivation. Like if I would have bought the deluxe edition of Wtphu when I still had it, when I was still playing with it, if I bought it at that time and finally finished it, I would have kept playing Wtphu until the DLC ended. That is what would have happened for that playlist. But because I didn't buy the DLC with the main game, I played it to the end of the original campaign, and that was it. I may go back to it and play more of it, but there's still content there. Like I can just liquidate my items and start over with a new weapon set after begrudgingly liquidating my only chance of an old playstyle. But there's certain ways to replay it in New Game Plus. But again, like there are benefits to waiting for a long time to finally have time to play that game. But it really depends.
Based on nothing but trust, or just seeing a good presentation or a good pre-order bonus is exactly
That is a good figure. 10 out of 10.
what put modern gaming in the state that it's in right now. If a game's functionality at launch were never in question, I don't think pre-ordering...
What is wrong with that arm? Jeez.
Why pay for that extra
I loved the Marvel's Avengers game. I wanted the game to succeed so badly, but there was a point when we were playing the game and it got a bug. It was getting buggy in certain places, and during certain UIs prevented me from continuing, so I had to restart the mission in order to get through that content. To the point where sometimes I had to restart the game because I was soft locked because the bug prevented me from completing an objective.
Pre-order bonus cosmetic. If the game ends up being so bad, you don't even end up playing it from...
Yeah, it dropped.
more than 5 minutes. We all need to stop buying into the...
But I finished the main game at least, but I never got a chance to finish Hawkeye's free DLC. No, I finished Kate Kane's DLC, but I never finished Clint Barton's.
Idea that we'll just wait it out and the developers will make the game better. You deserve better the day you give them your money.
We deserve better,
that
yeah.
includes even just for microtransactions. I'm looking at you, free-to-play games.
Is almost complete.
I get it!
You wouldn't pay a plumber after they tell you how good of a job they're going to do fixing your sink. You pay them after they've fixed your sink. Let's not rewarding developers for giving a good presentation or having good marketing. Instead, let's reward them.
I have not watched the Mario movie, but I think it's on Paramount now or something. It's ready to watch, and I'm ready to, on my vacation, sit home, turn it on TV and watch it. I'm ready to watch it.
Then when they release a good product. If this video does well, and you guys let me know in the comments that you'd like to...
I like that video. I like the video. I think I'll, that was pretty good. That's pretty good. I'll sub, and I like it. I really liked it. I will go ahead and put the links in the description below. But essentially, it's a reminder that, hey, you can still enjoy games, but you don't... but it's advised to, not pre-order games unless you are fully committed. When I played Kingdom Hearts 3, I was fully committed to the cause. I was fully committed. There were certain bugs, but even that game was relatively complete despite the experience. Maybe some people experienced bugs that I didn't during my playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 3 or my playthrough of what other pre-order game? Final Fantasy. But yeah, I like those experiences. For my playthroughs, I didn't experience those. But again, it's really a case-by-case scenario maybe give a game a couple months, maybe give it a year, but you have other priorities to do than like sacrifice your time for those games. Enjoy those games, but if you are afraid of bugs and afraid of failure like Battlefront 2, give it a minute, let it marinate in its release, and then go from there. Or, just like me, pre-order Final Fantasy and then play a day of. Take time out of work just to play a day of. I can't do that for Rebirth because I don't have PlayStation 5. I may buy a PlayStation 5 soon, but I need to save money first. So, who's to say? Anyways, that's the video. That's it. Bye-bye. Like and sub.